Eat less, move more. That's it. That's the advice. That's the advice someone gives you when you're trying to lose weight. Simple enough, right? How hard would it actually be? And turns out, not hard. It's actually impossible. Or at least the way it was explained to me, it was basically impossible. Because that advice is not actually wrong. It's just wrong for you. It's good for anyone who gained a few pounds over a winter and wants to lose it before Christmas. It's good for them. But for someone who has been carrying hundreds of extra pounds for years and years, that's not exactly how it works. The person who gained a few pounds over a season needs a sprint. But if you are 300, 330, 400 or more pounds, you don't need that. You can't sprint. It's a freaking marathon, and you can't just run as fast as you can and expect yourself to complete the marathon. That's not how it works. And in this playlist, I'm going to tell you exactly what I wish someone has told me when I weighed 330 pounds. Instead of just eat less, move more, and once you see it in a way of a marathon and not a sprint, a lot of things that you have been experiencing start to make sense. And at our weight, we don't have to give it our all. We have to pace ourselves for the years of discipline we have ahead. A sprint is won by going as fast as you can and then collapsing at the finish line. But in a marathon, you can't do that. You have to pace yourself from mile 1 until you reach the last mile. You can't just give it your all and expect everything to go smoothly. In this marathon, we have to consider three things which the normal people or the sprint runners don't have to. First is mental health, second is loose skin, and third is injuries. Yes, most people don't talk about this when they talk about fat loss, but these are the things that really matter. First one, mental health. And if you take away anything from this video, please make it this one. I can't emphasize this enough how much your mental health matters. I know it's a bit weird to start with mental health in a fitness video. Nobody talks about this, but this is the biggest factor that plays in your fat loss. You know how when you start eating and you have to just get another snack, this sugary food, that sugary food, but saying no to all of this requires discipline. What if I told you there's a hack in which you don't need discipline? Your brain automatically doesn't want to eat that. Like imagine that your mind itself makes you do good things. You don't have to force yourself to do them. This is the biggest factor in fat loss. It's not about food, it's not about exercising more. It's just your mental health. Because when you're bored, when you're sad, food is one of the easiest option for your brain. Second one, loose skin. Any person who weighs 300 pounds or more is afraid to admit this, but at this stage, if you lose a significant amount of weight, you're basically guaranteed to have loose skin. The way to avoid this loose skin is much simpler than you think. It's to slow down your fat loss. It's about giving your skin the time to adapt to your smaller sizes before you keep dropping your weight. I went from this to this, and I still don't have any loose skin. You wanna know how I did that? It was not by any fancy methods, it was not by any medical supplements that I took. It was just going back to the basics and making my fat loss journey slower and slower. It's a trap that internet shows you. Like I was 200 pounds in my last birthday, and on my this birthday I'm like suddenly lean, I am the shredded body physique. That's not how it exactly works. The guy probably took many steroids, the guy probably had a big surgery for treating his loose skin. But that is all a lie. So when you pace yourself for this marathon and plan to lose these hundreds of pounds over a few years instead of this one single year, if you lose it all in a year, you are guaranteed to have that loose skin and that surgery. But if you take it over the years, you're guaranteed to have a much better health overall, a much better lifestyle, as well as no loose skin. Speed is your enemy here. I can't emphasize this enough that this is a marathon and not a sprint. Third one, injuries. I learned this by burning my own hand. A person who has 20-30 extra pounds can just do a sprint, get up in an injury, and just recover it from 2 weeks, month max, At this weight, we don't get that luxury because right now, if you get an injury, it might cost you 6 months, a year, or can be even chronic for your entire life. And that's what we are trying to avoid here. The incident that happened with me was I was in a rut and then I finally had some momentum and I went all in. I forgot the rule about speed is the enemy and I started doing exercise 2 times a day with 1,000 calories deficit, entirely neglecting nutrition and everything, and ended up with an injured knee. I had a ligament injury and my months of progress went down the drain in just 2 weeks. I'm still trying to recover from it, and that is what I'm trying for you to avoid. And the worst part about these injuries is not the physical pain. It's when your brain kicks in and start talking things like, see, I told you, like this won't happen, like we are not lean, we are fat people. You start questioning yourself that will you ever go back to the gym? Will you ever go back to your normal routine? Will you ever be fit? Or is this your entire life? And that sucks more than the physical pain. Going slow isn't your weakness. That's your greatest weapon here. And yes, I will make a dedicated video for this about how to exercise, how to plan your meals so that you don't end up in a situation which I faced. Okay, so mental health, loose skin, and injuries. Three separate things, right? They're not actually. And here's the thing that's underneath all of them. Like most other people in the fitness industry, we are not here trying to lose that extra 100 pounds in our body. We are trying to get into a healthy lifestyle, trying to live better life, and being a person who naturally weighs 100 pounds less. Sounds like the same thing, but it's not. The first one is a number you chase for your entire life, trying to achieve it, and you're only happy when you hit that number. The second one is a lifestyle. We are simply aiming for a better routine, we are simply aiming for a better diet, a small change in your habits, and doing it for consistently over the years. And that is what changes everything. Weight loss is just a side effect, identity is the real cause. And throughout this journey, throughout this playlist, whatever you want to call it, we are aiming for the better identity. This is not about just fat loss, this is about who you are. 5 years ago, I was 330 pounds. Today, I'm 100 pounds lighter. I have a training routine which I follow so smoothly. I don't need to nag myself each and every time I have to work out, and a good diet. This didn't happen overnight, and this is not something you chase. You chase the identity which automatically does this for you. All this happened because I stopped chasing the numbers. I stopped chasing the perfect plan that everyone has. And I started becoming the person who naturally weighs little less, little less, little less, eventually getting to this point. And mark my words, in the next couple of years, I will have my dream physique in which I'm ripped, I have good amount of muscle in my body and very less amount of fat. Cheers.